So if you don't watch Fox News, this is from Earth Hippie. If you don't watch Fox News, listen to the stuff they spew out. It's deranged, and the point is to scare old people into obedience. Zionists have infiltrated the American establishment with their agenda. Well, that isn't new. And by the way, I'm sorry, Earth Hippie. They're not war crazed. They are actors on a children's network made exclusively for one man. Any current Republican president. That's what Fox News is. They reformat. They may reformat for each guy slightly, but never too much. Just like how MSNBC was entirely focused on babysitting Joe Biden while the deep state was using his auto pen. It worked great. You just plop him down in front of the Morning Joe and then sign crazy stuff with his auto pen.
Yeah.
These are propaganda outlets. These are not news outlets. These are propaganda outlets designed to keep the president war crazed. They're doing this rationally. You are crazed for thinking that democracy is real, frankly. So you want to see some of it? Here, yeah. Tucker Carlson talked about it.
I think this is a fair representation of what's on Fox's air right now. Okay, here it is.
The greater risk would be to do nothing. In the face of a clear and present danger, the world cannot experience another Holocaust.
If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, I think the odds are unacceptably high that we would find out with a mushroom cloud over New York City or Los Angeles or Tel Aviv and Israel.
This is exactly the same stuff they said about Iraq. By the way, that was Sean Hannity, the first one. He's the famous American eagle puppet from the Muppet Show. I don't know if you know that.
Big fan.
He just dusted off his old Iraq war script and switched out Iraq with Iran. That's exactly what they just did right there.
I watched his hair go gray as he said the same shit over and over again like an idiot over the years. But he's not an idiot. He's being paid to say that.
Yes.
Israel is doing an enormous favor to the United States right now.
Nuclear Iran is not just an existential threat to Israel. It is an existential threat to America. Take these enemies, not just figuratively, not just seriously, but literally. When they say they want a second genocide, they want a nuclear holocaust, they mean it.
If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off?
America first is not sitting in a beach chair and using words. It's taking decisive action when we can take out Fordo with one swoop of an airplane.
Wow.
What the hell is it going to take to realize what we're up against here? This country should be united. United in its own defense. Nobody's dragging us into anything. It's not the Jews. It's not Israel again. No. Long range, intercontinental, ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads are for you and me and your children and your grandchildren.
That's what's airing on Fox. By the way, that same person, Mark Levin, suggested today that we send nuclear weapons to Ukraine too. In the last clip that we played, he said, intercontinental ballistic missiles armed with nuclear warheads are meant for you. They're going to kill you, the mullahs. Iran doesn't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. It doesn't have nuclear warheads. Like, all of this is, it's deranged. And the point is to scare old people into obedience. Ted Cruz, Barry Weiss, Lindsey Graham, and Mark Levin hate Donald Trump. They're all never Trumpers. I'm not guessing. I know them all.
They're like Nikki Haley supporters.
100%.
Right.
And they're all now saying how much they love Trump.
The idea of Barry Weiss saying that this is a threat to America. So that's what we keep hearing. This is a threat to
Barry
America.
Weiss will say whatever she needs to say. Barry Weiss's interest is not the United States at all.
But factually, is it a threat to America? That's what I want to know. Like, who and if it is,
certainly make it a threat to America.
Yeah. What's a threat to America is those people on Fox News. And MSNBC and CNN, but Fox News has been going especially bellicose lately. And
it's for Trump. It's to program. It's not for your Meemaw people. They're allowed to watch, but it ain't for them. It's for one guy. It's for one guy.
It's for Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's why they're yelling like that. And look, now they were mean to him, but now they like him. I bet they're trying to work that in.
Yeah, the trick is to just be really loud and insistent about the memo that they're told to repeat, because that's what that is. And by the way, Mark Levin doesn't need to shout. He's scary no matter how loud he is. Just he could just sit there and freak everybody out just with his own presence. That's his gift, making everybody else uncomfortable. There's no feeling good around him. He is the weapon. That's what I say.
Hey, you want to not feel good? Try asking anyone under the age of 50 who the hell Mark Levin is.
Yeah. And he's all for sending nuclear weapons to Ukraine because there's no way the wind might shift and blow the radioactive cloud over Western Europe. Am I right? I mean, come on.
It's so, I mean, why? Because it'll cause a nuclear detente like you could have with Iran and Israel if Iran had them? That's the same argument to give Iran nukes would give them to Ukraine. That's the same argument.
That is the same argument. And as Mersheimer said, which I agree with, what would have avoided that war in Iran, Israel attacking Iran, is if Iran actually had nukes. There wouldn't be a war. That's the whole point of nukes, to make sure you don't have a war. Because it's mutually assured destruction. Remember that when I was a kid, they used to talk about that, mutually assured destruction. That was the big deal. So we got to have as many nukes as Russia, and Russia has as many as us, because if either of us uses them, then we're mutually agreed that we'll all die. So nobody will ever use them. That's the whole point of that.
It's the only way you can use them is to set up a deal like that. Otherwise, if you use them, you're the bad guy that used them, and you deserve to get nuked in the eyes of everybody. It's easy to trace who did it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to do it. Maybe you get a terrorist to do a dirty bomb, but those aren't real. So it sucks. That's all you can do is position around nukes. But you got to be a real old person who had to duck and cover in school to still believe any of that after you just saw North Korea create intercontinental ballistic missiles and nothing happened.
Nothing. You know what happened to Gaddafi after he got rid of his weapons? They overthrew. Yeah. They overthrew it. They bombed his country, overthrew him, and killed him.
That's an incentive for me to develop nuclear weapons. Watching them stick something up his ass.
That's right. They
get back to work.
Yeah, and they raped him with a sword and killed him.
I mean, of all my not in my top 10 best ways to go out.
Yeah, that's definitely
sword rape is really not up there.
Yeah. So that's what's happened. Just to give you a little taste, that's what's happening over at Tucker Carlson's former network, Fox News. And now you know why he got fired. He got fired because he told the truth about Syria, and then he told the truth about Ukraine. And that they can't have that. They can't have the #1 news show in America on Fox telling you the truth about war. That's why Jon Stewart won't tell you the truth about Ukraine. Jon Stewart won't, and never. That's the last thing he's going to do is tell you the truth about Ukraine. Jon Stewart literally hung a medal on a Ukraine Nazi at Disney World in Florida. That's what. So do you understand? That's why they
he would make jokes about it. Because if I did that, I'd be like, yeah, so you'll never. I mean, first of all, I can't wait to tell a story. Like, I got asked to go do this thing at Disney, and I had to hang a medal on a Nazi. I mean, that's a hilarious story for a comedian to tell.
Yeah. To
be tricked into hanging a medal on a Nazi at Disney with Mickey behind you. That's never coming up again.
And isn't it interesting, Kurt, that Jon Stewart will never go anywhere. They'll ask him about that. He'll never go on a show they were ask him that question about why did you hang a medal on a Nazi, and then why did you give a tongue bath to two of the most blood-soaked war criminals in history, Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice. Why don't you tell people the truth about Ukraine? He'll never go anywhere where
I know privately he didn't want to do the one. He's embarrassed about the other one. I know people. I've been in the business,
but he did it all. But he's
just never going to tell in a public setting. But let me tell it for him to help the guy out. He did not want to do the one with Hillary and Condoleezza, but you did do it though, dude. You know,
but you
didn't
did
speak up. You let them roll right over you. I mean, he did leave Apple eventually. It's just half-ass. It's like Bruce Springsteen's music. It's just like mediocre, dude. And you really you should be disgusted with the system after what they did to you. If I got tricked into hanging medals on Nazis at Disney, I'd have a real sword up my ass about it, like Gaddafi.
Yeah, me too. But Jon Stewart certainly doesn't need the money. But what he can't take is the ostracization from liberal society.
Social death.
It's the social death. It's worse than death. So your brain is programmed to want to be in the group. And Jon Stewart's no different. And that's why he hung the medal on the Nazi. That's why he won't tell people the truth about COVID. That's why he won't tell people the truth about Ukraine. And because he doesn't want to be ostracized from the group. And that's exactly, it works. It works.
For $50 million, I want to not see the group ever the hell again.
Yeah.
You're seeing?
Yes.
How much money does it take? I mean, because 50 million, that figure always comes up in these stories of someone selling their soul. And I mean metaphorically, but hey, you want 50 million? You just got to do this thing that goes against your every fiber in your being. And it's a repeating story, except for Jordan Peterson, who got 60 million.
So, Eva Chapuik put out a tweet, and I just want to read a little bit from her tweet, it was amazing. Once you've participated in the mob mentality, which is what everybody did during COVID, people close to me, people who I've known all my life.
You did with your brother. You tell that story.
Yeah, I fell for it at first. And I made a mea culpa. I apologized. I was wrong.
You did.
Once you participated in the mob mentality, once you've policed your neighbors and canceled your friends and stayed silent when you should have spoken up, you become invested in maintaining the fiction that you were right all along. That's exactly what's happening.
That's the end of neuroplasticity, as they call it. That's that.
And that's why these people won't admit they were wrong about Ukraine. They won't admit that they were wrong about COVID. And she says, admitting you were wrong isn't just embarrassing. It's an admission that you participated in something monstrous. So instead, you double down. You disappear when confronted with inconvenient facts. And that's exactly what Jon Stewart's doing. I don't know how we got off on that from that clip, but
I know what she's saying. And by the way, once you're wrong like that, I think that calcifies your brain. I always hear calcifying your whatever, because I watch people do it. They get invested in being wrong, and they harden in amber, and their brain stops working.
Yes.
Okay?
Then they tell people to stop doing their own research and listen to what the man on the TV says.
You just like a statue in place. And like admitting you're wrong is a way to make if you don't want to believe in, you don't have to believe in God if you're not comfy with that. But a way to not make you stagnant your whole life is to go, I was wrong about that. And then it'll stimulate you. It's good for you. It's better for you to do it than even anybody you're apologizing to or just admitting you were wrong.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Toronto, Red Bank, New Jersey, Northampton, Massachusetts, Concord, New Hampshire, Oxnard, California, Rutherford, New Jersey, New York, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.